Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the latest studio update from ArenaNet that they just posted like a day ago. Um, yeah, so quite excited to talk about this live. I've had a read through of it already, but we can talk about it again and just go over it. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. So yes, I wanted to do this live because I thought if anyone wanted to come in and chat about what they said, that would be quite interesting to just like get a discussion back and forth about it. Otherwise, if you're tuning in after the stream, then feel free to leave a comment, and I love reading your guys' comments. So yeah, just get back to me if you have any information or any thoughts about what I said about this. So yes, without further ado, let's read the let's go read the article. I just turned down the music a little bit. I'm not sure how loud it is. It seems like it might be a little bit loud. All right. So Secrets of the Obscure. Looking back and forward. So they say, hey, Guild Wars community, Josh Davis here, game director for Guild Wars 2. Last week's content update was a significant milestone for us. Both technically and symbolically, it marked the final major release for Guild Wars Secrets of the Obscure, our first foray into the annual expansion model first announced in early 2023. As we conclude one chapter with the final content update of SotO, we are eagerly preparing to unveil the details of our next expansion. Before we get all swept up by next week's news of what's coming, so excited it's coming next week, the news. I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the development of SotO and some of the high-level learnings that they've taken with them for the new expansion. This is very exciting. Oh, by the way, sorry, I am actually late to the party with this video. A lot of people got the video out 2 days ago or a day ago, and I wanted to record and share in, well, you know, just sharing this news as soon as possible. And I had an extreme hay fever symptoms yesterday. And I think it was because we were washing a lot. Well, my girlfriend actually was doing most of it. She was washing a lot of our sheets and stuff. And I am allergic to dust, so that sucks. And there's guaranteed, maybe dust kind of goes hand in hand with lint, I suppose. Maybe I'm allergic to lint too. Who knows? I should get that tested. Anyway, yeah, I was just like, just had so much, so much hay fever. How do I say that? I just had hay fever. That's all. Just had that. Unfortunately. So anyway, let's get back to the article. You won't learn about specific features, setting, or story for our next expansion in this blog post. That's for next week. Specific features. So we are learning a little bit. But you have a better understanding of how we're approaching its development. Very cool. Retrospective. Quick history refresher. A little over a year and a half ago, we announced we'd be transitioning from the long-standing living world model to more frequent annual expansion releases. Yep. We know that. This was a significant shift, but the new direction was born out of an examination of the pain points, experienced by our players and our developers. The reasons we laid out for this change and what we hope to achieve by it were simple but deeply important. Deliver content updates in a more consistent and timely manner, provide better support for the systems and game modes that make up the Guild Wars 2 experience, and enable ArenaNet employees to enjoy better work-life balance. That is very important. Very important. But so is this when it comes to delivering on a game. I think a lot of people who play games don't think about this, and that's a massive contributor to how much they can output. Obviously, anyone who's ever worked in their life should know that this is very important. Now that we've completed a full expansion release cycle, I can confidently say we've made significant strides towards these goals, but as with all things, there's room for improvement, both in terms of the content we deliver and the processes which we deliver through. I said that backwards. For today, I'm going to focus on some of what we learned on the content side of things. Here's a very cool image showing a side of her that we never seemed to see. All we got was her generally one-dimensional character, but it kept alluding to this. So that's, you know, unfortunate, and I think they talk a little bit more about that. Just generally. So, story-wise, the conclusion of the Elder Dragon saga in Guild Wars End of Dragons presented us with a unique opportunity to delve into a different kind of storytelling. We aim to focus on deeper narratives grounded in the characters and circumstances around the player character. However, with SotO, our ambition led us to take on a broader scope than was feasible. We introduced a lot of new characters. Yes, this is very, very true here. They introduced a lot of new characters, and the plot was too complex, yeah, for what can be reasonably handled with an annual expansion. Yeah, so interesting. I saw Wooden Potato's video. He said it didn't seem complex, it was just too big. I think what they mean is that it was too complex, like behind the scenes, of stuff that they wanted to do, and it ended up not making debut in the game because of the complexity and the time constraints that they had. So this left some character interactions feeling rushed. Yes, I added the word "very" there. Story threads unexplored. This so sad, but so true. More isn't always better. Well, seems like they should have known this already. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We learned a lot from this experience and have a much greater understanding of story scale within our new release structure. Yay! For our next expansion, we're going to tell a more grounded story. Hopefully, hopefully it stays grounded this time. That would be nice. Set in a new region of Tyria. You know what they should do? They should create constraints for themselves. Like, if they go off track or stray too far, they'll be like, you know what? Actually, we can't do this. We're not allowed. We set our constraints. We can't. They should follow and explore all parts of the main story and all characters part of the main story. They should do that and constrain themselves as much as they can to that. And once that's complete, then add on more later. With more focus on local threats and the global conversation around those threats. So this is interesting, just the fact that threats nearby, like grounded ones, they're gonna have a bigger consequential. They'll be more consequential globally as well. Wonder what it is. Tyria, despite all its challenges, has continued to stir. While we leave Nyos and Cryptus to enjoy their newfound freedom, story will pick up on some threads started in Guild Wars 2 SotO. Continuing with the Astral Ward arc. I kind of agree with what Wooden Potato said here as well. He actually said that they should just go away from the Astral Ward. I agree with that because what they're doing is just you're then gonna have to, you know, play the SotO, and not that playing SotO is bad or anything. It's just that you can't. It's not fresh. You know what I mean? You're kind of stuck in terms of story, at least. You're stuck going through the SotO story to make sure you know the characters here coming into the new one. That seems kind of strange. I don't know why they just didn't do new characters, or like returning old characters or something like that. Or maybe they can introduce them in a way that's better than they did in the actual thing. Yeah, so the moral ambiguity and their relationship to Tyria. Map design. In SotO, we delivered 3 new open world maps. The first 2, Omnitos and Skywatch Archipelago. And then they came with the expansion's launch, 2023, August. Third map in ArenaNet was released with the first quarterly update, November 2023. Was then expanded on second and third. Yes, which I didn't really like how they did that, to be honest. After extensive adventuring in ArenaNet in recent months, it's clear that using a single map as a main focal point for 3 releases is not ideal from a player or developer standpoint. Yep, true. Sorry, I sound so, what's the word? Senile or something? Sarcastic? I mean, in the sense that it was like pretty obvious that players could have said that, you know? Our decision to do so originally stemmed from production constraints and overlapping development timelines between expansions, but we've since identified some ways to mitigate those issues. Nice. Both in terms of release structure and process improvements. Cool. So for next expansion, our first 2 maps will be released at the expansion's launch, just as they did in SotO. However, the final map will arrive in the second quarterly update and be expanded upon in the third, meaning it will be expanded on for a total of 2 releases like BR March's Drizzlewood Coast. So what they're saying is, next expansion, the first 2 maps are coming straight away. Then there's going to be, well, the next update is not going to have a map, basically. And then once the second update comes around, that's when the new map comes. I think that sounds like a much greater idea, because like coming with 1 update, which is technically the expansion, with 2 maps, that's so much content. If you're adding a whole nother map to that, it's just too much. Too many maps to handle. Too many maps to go over with all the content. So just if they're adding more content in the first release, that makes it so much more comfortable, I guess, even could be the word, to just go around the first 2 maps doing all that content that you got with the expansion and the first update. Not only does this give our team a bit more time to develop the third map, it also means the story during the next expansion cycle will better leverage all 3 maps and take you back to some familiar areas from your past. I'm clearly ad-libbing a lot here. While the first quarterly release after the expansion's launch won't include the third open world map, as it did with SotO, there will be plenty of new content. Keep me busy. Well, yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm pretty sure everyone would be happy with that. In terms of story, open world content encounters. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's good. And let us like work towards the currency that we actually need, you know? And then like currencies for different things that we want to get. And then if you go to like the new map, that basically gives like 2 updates per set per one. Well, you got 2 maps first, then an update that gives you more content in the same areas. So you could kind of set it up like just in terms of timing. Not that you would like necessarily think about this specifically, but you could technically, like, the idea I think would be to just go through the first map like as a quote-unquote first release, then the second map, the amount of time that's there for the next update, that could be the second map technically. So you got 2 maps for a whole 2 updates. Then you got 2 updates for the third map, which is great. So yeah, let's go on. In terms of, no, that's a little vague. You can check back next week. Oh, it's coming, it's coming. But rest assured, the first quarterly release will include something really exciting. The first quarterly release will include something really exciting that players have been requesting for over 5 years. Okay, this is an interesting statement. I'll come back a little bit later. Features. MMOs are made of numerous gameplay systems, content types, each with a different role to play game experience. As games go on, they tend to accumulate more and more systems and features. It is fine if there's effort put into that. Looking back over the game's history, I think maintenance and upkeep is one of the areas that have fallen short. Yep, I would say so too. They fall into the trap of releasing new features for the sake of releasing new features. Something we've been referring to internally as putting a hat on a hat. Over the last few years, we put much more focus on upkeep and iteration of systems and avoiding unnecessary bloat. We put more focus on maintaining live game systems, and with SotO, we went to the extent of entirely reworking existing features to make room for more modernized solutions. Wizards Vault is a good example of this strategy. I think another good example of this strategy is reworking the sky scales. You can expect to see a new system being introduced in expansion 5 as a meaningful new way to spend your time together. So this is going to be fun to learn about it. I don't know what the feature is yet, so we're using this as an opportunity to greatly improve the player experience with the related existing game systems. Overall, we're a bit conservative with the features in Guild Wars 2 SotO. Yep, seems like they were. Trying to strike the right balance between scope, schedule, and risk while navigating a new content structure. We've ironed out a lot of kinks here, and it's allowed us to be a bit more ambitious with our next expansion. It's funny how they said this here because they tried to be ambitious with this expansion. Now they're being more ambitious. A bit more ambitious than what though? than the last one, because that's too much then. I hope that what they've learned really gets put into practice there. Such a tease. We've closed out on one of our recent blogs, which introduced the cosmetic inspection feature, recapped some of the quality of life changes, and new development approach they're taking to Secrets of the Obscure. They gave us a screenshot. I don't know if you remember that. There's a new area that was in the next expansion. But today they gave us a teaser video, an environment preview. And it's called Something Leaving the Water. On behalf of ArenaNet, I want to express sincere gratitude for your continued support, your passion, and your feedback. It's not lost on us just how incredibly lucky we are to have such a dedicated community behind us. We're looking forward to discovering more of Curious Secrets together with you for years to come. Thanks for reading. Can't believe that we're just a week away. Me neither, actually. I'm excited about what we created, and I think you will be too. I will say here's a timeline of what they had previously and what's coming. Dragon Bash Festival 4 wins. So it's interesting that we have a counter in the game now for when the next release is coming. I love that because you know when it's coming, and I guess you kind of know they're delivering on stuff when they have a set release date for when the update is actually coming out. And you see that in the Wizards Vault special area where it says how long you have until the next update, basically, or patch, or Wizards Vault refresh, which is basically the next release. So let's take a look at this video here. So there's a couple things you can notice here. Something leaving the water. So let's talk about, this is supposed to be environment preview. They've got a spear on their back, and it continues out of the water. It persists on their back, and they actually unsheath it. And they have a specific stance as well, unsheathed. So it's definitely not a staff. Staffs like kind of stand up straight in the water, on the ground. They hold it up, as you know. Well, you know what? Do other classes hold staffs differently? Oh, maybe they do. I'm used to holding staff on a ranger. I mean, as a druid, you know. So, okay, okay. Well, ignore what I just said about the stance, but the fact that the same weapon is on them, this looks like a spear. I wonder if they could be bringing tridents too. That could be really interesting. But looks like they're bringing like spears and halberds and pikes, stuff like that. So that, I think that's what they mean by something leaving the water. But let's also talk about the music is really kind of uplifting here and opening. It has that like opening, welcoming, like something's about to, you're about to see something amazing. Amazing! Oh my god, my voice. My voice cracks. Classic. Yeah, so that music is really, really good. I'm a huge fan of the Yours music, but they do really good picks for their theme songs. I just want to talk about this really quickly here, the housing situation. So this here is so interesting next to this. So I just came back from Japan, and this stands out like immensely to me. I'm a huge fan of Japanese, like Japanese historical, well, how would I say that? Like old architecture. The way they used to construct their buildings. And this is definitely, this seems definitely not like this. It's different. It looks Asian or Asian inspired. You got this these riveted entry point here. You've got the pointed center pointed like roofs with straw. Oh, you've got straw here, but it's different. It looks different the way that it's done. And then you've got these flags here as well, which is really common for doors and windows to have this slit in the middle as well. Particularly doors, I think. Just like coverings for that. So yeah, the way it's constructed, even these here, it looks kind of like a shrine or something like that, or like an old village. Yeah, it stands out to me as being completely different from this here, and I don't know. To me, it seems like something. This is gonna be a mashup of maybe cultures here, and we could be seeing Canthons. I'm hoping we could be seeing Canthons outside of Cantha. So this will be really interesting. That piqued my interest a lot. And this just like looks very close to like Norn, or well, no, this is, hold on. I mean, this is not a lodge style building. It's more like a building in the wall. And these look like small doors. So this could be a dwarven thing. Possibly. Possibly. That's just a little bit of speculation. I don't know, because I obviously we haven't seen something like this exactly before. It's all new. But I think that is Asian inspired. If it's not, I'll be very surprised. anyway, that is all of it. So we've gone over. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to mention, just with in regards to this, they said before that there is something coming in the first release that will include something really exciting that players have been requesting for over 5 years. So that comes in the first release. Initially, I was thinking that they're talking about the land spears, the spears coming to ground as the thing that they've been requesting for 5 years. I'm obviously not certain on that, but I thought that that's what they were hinting here. There's something leaving the water. This is leaving the water, and I thought that's the thing that's coming in the first release. However, it could be possible that it's not that, just because it's coming in the first release and not the expansion release. However, they did delay some features, I think, from coming, like the weapons master training or something like that, to a later release, not the actual expansion release. So it may still be this, and I was thinking it was this. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But my speculation is that it is this. This is the thing that they're talking about coming. That they've wanted. That we've wanted. I don't know. A lot of people are saying, I watched a few other people's videos. A lot of people are saying it's raids. I think especially Muckluck was saying that it's raids. But you know what? I don't know. I feel like they are moving a little bit away from raids. Don't you think? With the whole strikes thing? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's all. That's their entire update. So we'll just have to wait for next week, and once we get to next week, I'll try and get on live, and we can talk about the announcement. Sounds very exciting. Gonna cheer. All right. So that'll end my video, and thank you for joining if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Have a great day.